What's up?
Hey.
Welcome to Not a Podcast with Connor and Bart. Project Power. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to a show that's not a show.
It's not a show. It's not anything real.
Nope.
Well,
there's two real people.
Two real people talking about real stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't care.
I don't give a shit. That's how cool we are. We don't care. The
Truly.
only thing that we care about, what do we care about, Anna?
We care if you like it and subscribe to our channel, please.
Yeah. Because we talk about real shit, like, let's give the advantage back to reality.
Yeah.
So much TikTok and bullshit on the internet is clouding everyone's minds with what they should do, say, think. Let's give them back some of the real stuff from real people.
Accurate information.
That's right. It's honest. And so that's what Not a Podcast represents, is this isn't a nice, polished thing to try to market to you guys.
Yeah.
This is honest answers, honest questions, honest feedback from honest people.
Yeah.
Because you guys deserve it. So press the like button.
Subscribe.
Press the subscribe button.
Comment and say that it was the best thing you've ever heard
Yep.
and how much you learned. And also you can feel free to comment what you want to hear us talk about.
I would love to hear your questions legitimately.
I would love it too. We think we're going to eventually do like Q&A style. But,
1,000%.
yeah, that requires people to be
Interaction.
subscribing and listening.
Interaction. This is a communal thing.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are part of the community. So I want you, Uncle Sam. All right? Cool.
Help us help you.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah. Is that Jerry Maguire? You remember
Don't
that
know.
movie? Have you seen Jerry Maguire?
Nope.
All right.
Anyways.
Moving on.
Yep.
Topics, guys, new thing for this week. We have Jackman, producer Jackman.
Yo.
Oh.
Wow.
Went through puberty as that happened. Why Jackman? Because Jackman is the shit. Jackman is focused. Jackman is one of our people because he gives a crap. He tries his ass off and he tries to do something that hasn't been done before because it's the right thing to do. Yep. So we're going to entrust in Jackman because of those things, and he's severely younger than we are. He's going to give us a new perspective.
He's
I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
My age has a obliviousness to how obvious things should be. And
True.
common sense is not so common anymore.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and ask Jackman what the hell we need to talk about today.
Okay. How old are you, by the way, Connor?
I'm 25.
75.
Internally, I'm about 87. Yeah.
Okay. So
She
that goes
goes-
a year
she-
on me.
she-
Yeah,
she
I'm
eats-
not
you said a year?
significantly older than him, but like mentally, I
Yeah,
am
for sure. You're
like
way-
in the worst ways, like not in like and not and like I'm so mature. It's like that I go to bed by 7 p.m.
Oh, like dinner at 3,
Dinner
night at 7.
Yeah, and like I'm panicking so hard if I'm out somewhere and it's like 9 o'clock and I see everyone like still wants to be there. I'm like, motherfucker. Like I'm panicking.
My
So,
Werther's Originals are melting in my purse right now.
yes, God, those things are so good.
Yeah, when you're 75, that's all you eat.
That's what I'm saying. That's
That's
all I
it.
eat. So yeah,
So Jackman, you're 13 years old, so we're gonna ask.
Pretty much.
he's cool.
Yeah,
he's
the
cool.
coolest
That's
13-year-old
the
I know.
thing is he's cool and we're not.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's
That's so true and sad
We're-
as shit at the same time. Jackman, what the hell are we talking about today, bro?
Let's talk about negotiation.
Negotiation.
Oh
Negotiation.
no,
Well, actually, this is a
So
pretty
not
cool
good.
topic because Connor just bought a new car.
I did. It's not new.
Oh.
New to me.
Well, it's new to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying like you built it or anything. I'm just saying
Well, I
like,
did.
you haven't had it and now you do have it.
I
And
customized the
yes,
whole
I'm just
thing.
gonna go out and get some wood, some timber,
$200,000.
building a car from linoleum. Negotiation, and what aspect of negotiation? Just generalized how to win negotiation, how to attempt it. What are you talking about here, Jack?
Yeah. Well, when we were talking about origin stories, you talked about like, even negotiating with the fire marshal and getting him to say yes and certain
Yeah.
things. So, what are some different tactics that go into negotiation? When do you need to use it?
Love it.
So I'm gonna preface this is gonna be a very Bart heavy
No,
episode.
no.
It is.
I
but
knew that you were
in
gonna
the
say
best
that.
way because
I
I
knew-
know, but because I need to hear this because I'm so don't do that.
That's what I want to hear first, because obviously I have experience in it, and I know you
Yeah.
don't have a lot of experience
Yeah.
in it. So most people are in your boat, not mine.
Yeah.
So let's hear what people's thoughts are. Tell me what you think about negotiation, your experience with it.
I think negotiating. Negotiate. I don't even know
I
the
am
word.
from
That's how
Asia.
much I don't use it.
It's this much. Okay.
Truly.
No.
So like, okay, I'll do this thing. It's so funny. I always use this example. So I'm a server at Texas Roadhouse. For those of you who don't know, is my other job.
Steak.
And steak.
Looking love
And
steak.
we push gift cards heavily
Ah.
from the months of October to December.
Smart.
We run deals on them for people to buy for like it's like for Christmas season, right?
Of
But
course.
like because historically in the restaurant industry, January through March are pretty slow months, but that makes people have an incentive to come during those months.
Okay.
To use the gift
I
cards.
wouldn't have thought that. I thought cold, dark, everyone's going out to eat.
Yeah. So yeah, it works really, really well.
Okay.
We're slammed for the entire winter.
We're
instead
gonna
of
sell
just-
gift cards at Project Power now.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Yep. But the
Wait.
thing is, it's so funny. So like we have gift card competitions every night for like 3 months, and like as a service, it's really fun. It's really cool, and I'm very good at it now. But whenever I first started with the company, which was like 5 years ago, I'm like, I do my little spiel, and they're like, no, thank you. Yep, for sure. And I walk away, and I'm like. And like literally, I'm like telling my coworkers, I'm like, I basically want to be like, oh no, I wouldn't either. Like I get it. I'll just, you know what? I'm actually gonna take $5 off your meat. Like I just want to immediately be like, no, like I hate to bother. I feel like negotiating is almost bothering people.
Okay, I can see that.
But I don't know why. And again, it's like
People pleasing.
yes, 100%, because I don't ever want to be a bother or come off rude or come off like
Pushy.
I'm asking for anything ever, which is that's not a good, like that's so far extreme. Because there's an extreme of like negotiating too hard on everything
Sure,
all the time.
sure.
Like genuinely, you don't have to be that big of a pain in the ass, but you also don't have to be like 0-bit pain in the ass. Like, I think it's good to be a little bit of a pain, because everyone I know who's gotten some really good shit has negotiated and been a
Yeah.
little bit of a pain in the ass
Right,
to people. Like
right.
you did the entire every
Everything.
single step of the way to get this place and everything that it is, you negotiated with someone.
Yes.
Which is what we learned during Origin Stories, because
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. Like obviously I knew negotiating happens with getting a building or getting a business, but I didn't know to what extent.
But I mean, when you went to get your car, right?
Yeah.
Like, was it like, here's the sticker, and you're like, okay, can I afford it? Okay, here you go.
No, I mean but like honestly, I just had a really good finance guy also, and like I know he was negotiating for me, like with different.
You brought him with you.
No, the guy working with me.
Okay.
And I know he was doing a lot because it took a long time. But me personally, like, no, I didn't argue much about anything, but I also just got a really good deal on it, and like it was exactly what I wanted and for like what it was and blah blah blah. And I had talked to various other places and like gotten quotes and stuff, and I was like, no, or I would just know that something's already like stickered too much, and I'm like, I'm not even fucking with that one. So this was actually a very smooth process, but I also truly, this is the first time I've ever gotten anything like fully by myself, like had no one, like I had like one car from a dealership prior to that, which was my last car, and my grandma co-signed and did everything with
Gotcha.
me because I was 18.
Yeah.
Before that, I had all like hand-me-down cars, so like I never had to deal with this. So like this was the first time it was like just me. I just did it, and I was like, okay, but I mean it worked out really well. But I mean, yeah, I don't know if I.
So the first thing that you did well to feel comfortable not having to like do stuff is the fact that you researched and knew value of what it is that you were attempting to accomplish,
For
right?
sure.
So I think that's the very first step. Like you may not have even known that was a thing, but that was your natural instinct of like, okay, if I'm buying a Jeep, for what miles does what price make sense? Because if you don't know that, then you have no stance to quote unquote negotiate, because you don't know what is or isn't reasonable.
For sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Because
So-
I also would like, if I found something at like a more competitive price, I would have immediately said that. But like, well, I see this one for this, like, already, but
You would.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is what, like, this one was the best one I found for exactly what I wanted to. Like, it was perfect. But had I been somewhere else, I would have used that one as the negotiation, if that makes sense. But like, well, this one's right here. I could just go do this.
Right.
If not. So,
Right.
yeah.
So would you say that because it's a thing that's, I don't have a lot of experience doing it, I also don't know what I can ask for.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's definitely like a comfortability thing. Like, I don't know what's even like appropriate or what I'm comfortable with or what I should ask, what I shouldn't ask, what's too much, what's not enough.
Right.
So, yeah.
So and then at that point, you just decide I'm not going to do any of it.
Yeah,
right? So
essentially.
right? I either
yeah.
want this price, or if it's too high, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is literally where most people's issues with almost every decision making process comes from. Because if you're not comfortable with like what is possible, and then what runs through your mind is all the potential possibilities, guess what your brain's going to go do? Fuck that. I'm out.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you decide to do none of it. It's not meant for me, or I don't know enough, or I can't handle it. And then you
Yeah.
decide to do nothing.
Yeah.
But if you can break it down to like a couple chunk size pieces of like, okay, this is what I can afford, or this is what I can do. Let me just present that to this person and see if that's enough to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And if it's not, guess what? We're right back where we started, where I'm fucking leaving. You know?
Yep.
So I think the big thing that prevents people from negotiating is you feel bad for asking what you want, because you feel like asking for what you want is going to make their life harder or more difficult, or they're going to have a negative perspective of you
Right.
for you standing up for yourself for what you want. And that's the very first thing that I think I needed to learn, because I was the exact, remember, I was a people pleaser my entire life. The biggest drawbacks I ever have had in my life was the fact that I didn't stand up for what I wanted, and I didn't ask for what I want. I just assumed if I just kept doing good, the world would give me exactly what I want. But the truth of the matter is if you don't ask the universe for what you want, you won't get it.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
you won't realize it when it's there.
Agreed.
Right? So the very like first thing I think in negotiating successfully requires is for you to be okay to hear no. You have to be okay with them saying no.
Yeah.
Because if they don't say no, you probably didn't ask for enough. You want to over ask first, so that when they come back, you have still in your favor some meat on the bone.
Yeah.
But if you don't ask for what it is that you want, and you just go off like what you think they'll say yes to, they probably would have said yes for way more. The biggest thing to remember, that 99% of people you're going to negotiate with, let's say in the business world, they want to do what it is that you're asking for, because it benefits them to do so as well, right? We can't forget that, like, okay, if I'm buying this car and I really, really want this car, it would be so valuable to me to have this car. We forget that it's valuable for them to sell the car.
Yeah.
It's just as he's got bills, he's got pressure from his boss, he's got deadlines, he's got a quota, he's got performance metrics. He has all these things that you buying this car solves for him. So he needs your help just as much as you need his help. And so it's not, and that's a very tough thing. Like when I had to negotiate the fire marshal, he's not selling me anything, right? He's not like, what does he have to gain from me?
Yeah.
Doing this. So figure out what it is that benefits them in this situation. What tugs on their heartstrings in order for them to care about doing whatever it is that you're trying to get done.
Yeah.
So for Ryan's an upstanding human being. Ryan is a phenomenal, the fire marshal, phenomenal guy. He's by the book, which is where I found relatability right off the bat, because I too am a principle-driven dude, right? So how the hell can I be upset or pissed off at a guy who's trying to follow the book to a T?
Because that's what you would do.
Because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So I can't come at him with like this negotiating tactic, because if I get him to feel like he's cheating, bro, he's not going to say yes, right? So instead that's why I took the route more of, let's just get him to say yes a bunch of stuff. And why that matters is because I am showcasing that we are following the rules over and over. We are doing the right thing over and over, because I know that's what he cares about. He cares about doing the right thing. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the first thing is what you did really well is you research. You figure out what is around and what's possible. I knew that there were structures with wood. There are. I asked my architect. I asked engineers. It happens. It's a thing that gets done. So it's not like I asked for something that never gets done. So already I had this foundation of like, this is possible. Cool. The second thing then is you just figure out what it is that they want truly. What is it that they will gain from this happening? And then you just lay into that as much as you possibly can. So when I go purchase a vehicle, I do it, at the end of the month, where I know quotas are being, that need to be met. Sales numbers need to be met. It's a month by month basis. So I'm going to wait till the last 2 days of the month to try to buy the car. And that's the presentation I'm going to put. This is my budget right off the bat, guys. This is what I can afford to pay for this car, period. So that right off the bat, I'm like, are you even interested in still talking to me? Because I'm not going over this price.
Yep.
Cool. And if they're into it, then I know that they really need this to happen. And so they're going to push above that price, but I'm going to say, listen, man, I want you to hit your quota. Like, I want you to get your numbers, and I want to be part of that for you. This is how I can provide that value for you. Maybe you don't make $500 commission off this car, but you'll make $5,000 commission off of selling 25 cars this month. All right, hold on. Let me go check my manager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he cares about.
Yeah.
You know, and that just comes through research. I talk to a lot of people who sell things. I talk to a lot of people who are in commissions, and I try to figure out how their structure is, and I just lay into that.
Yeah.
So it's never about, like, I don't think it's ever about this, like, hardcore, quote unquote, business strategy where, like, you throw this number out and then you don't say anything until they say something. The first person to say something loses. Like, God damn it. Like, we get away from Gordon Gekko for fucking 10 minutes, you know? It's more about just, like, figuring out the person as a person, because that's who you're negotiating with as a human being, figuring out what they care about, and then trying to give them what they care about without bending your own boundaries of what you can do.
So what about, I feel like this is a common one that, like, most people in their lives are going to have to face. This one is, like, asking for a raise. Like, I've never been in that position because I've never had really, like, I don't know, like a 9 to 5, you know, like stuff like that, which, like, I make my own money just from, like, tips, right? So, like, I've never had to do that, but I feel like the most popular form of negotiation is asking for a raise, and like, how does that benefit your boss if your job's not changing?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Okay, so I went through this. So in Supplement Superstores, I was actually the first employee ever to get a raise at that time, right? So, like, I did everything I possibly could to make my boss's job null and void. I did everything that he was required to do because I tried to make him look as good as physically possible. So much that it was absolutely undeniable of how much I was doing, how much I was growing the store and helping employees and helping people, and, you know, making sure my manager's job became obsolete to the point where he wants me to do good. And a lot of people out there, they say negative stuff because a lot of times their managers don't want you to succeed past them because you're the one that does the work for them. Right? Yeah. And so they're like, well, I'm not going to do all this work that's not my job because the guy above me, my supervisor, is not going to promote me. He's not going to. You have to be so good that their supervisor notices that you're the one doing all the good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're at Roadhouse and I know you're fucking phenomenal, like, you do a phenomenal job, I guarantee it's so obvious that you're the one that does so well that people come and ask you questions versus supervisor and this and that and the other thing, right? Well, if that happens enough and you take enough stuff off of your supervisor's plate, what you then do is you get real honest with yourself with what you've accomplished. You go, I, in my time, have created this much revenue. I have done this. I help these people. I take these responsibilities that are not on my plate. And what you do is you showcase everything that would be missed if you were to leave. They won't give you a raise unless you ask for one. I went years doing high quality work, just assuming that they would knock on my door and say, thank you so much, here's extra money. So this is what happened.
I think a lot of people do that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, it's because, you know, I'm the owner here, right? And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not going to come to you just randomly and say, like, here's an extra $10,000, right? And the reason why I'm not going to do that is because everything that we want is we want ambitious, hardworking, self-driven humans. And I can't cultivate that if I'm the one that you keep waiting for things to happen. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's like a cost of entry to have that hard sit down. Like, I already respect you if you're like, hey, I'd like to talk to you about my performance. Dope. Let's sit down and talk about it. Because if you're on point and your performance is legit, you're in good standing with me. This meeting is not going to be frowned upon or down upon. It's only when you're not honest with yourself with your performance. If you're just doing your job regularly, don't ask for a fucking raise. Don't ask because you've been there 2 years.
And I think that's a common thing too, is people just think like their seniority like earns them a raise. It's like, why? Why? Makes no sense.
Why? And a lot of, like, HR problems come from people being pissed off that they got jumped over for a promotion. That guy's been here a year. I've been here 3. Well, I guarantee he's done more in a year than you've done in 3. So what does that say?
Yeah.
You know? So then ask for the sit down. And this is what happened. I did. I got so frustrated to the point where I'm like, okay, I have one of 2 options. I'm either going to get a raise or I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
Because I am so confident that what I am giving, if I give anywhere, I'll be successful.
Right.
Cool.
True. Yeah.
Right. So if I don't have that understanding, if I'm afraid that if I go somewhere else, like I won't be good, you're not good at where you're at. You need to be honest. So then you sit down. I sit down with Andy, and I have a list, and I've written down everything that I've done in the last year and a half, and I was asking for 25 cents more an hour. Again, no one's ever asked for a raise in the history of the company, so I'm sweating bullets. Him and Jason are sitting on the other side of the table. And I hand over this, and looks right at me, intimidating as fuck. And he goes, "Why the hell do you think you deserve a raise?" Right? Well, So then I run through it, and every single thing I said, he goes, "Yep, absolutely right, absolutely right, absolutely right." And then he even gets to a point where, I said, I generated of this one product this much. He goes, "Nah, that's bullshit. We did ads during this month. You didn't do that. That was us." Right. But the other things he was saying yes to. So he was still brutally honest with me with this is really your performance. And then he looked at the bottom and he goes, "So you're asking here for a quarter more?" And I go, "Yeah." Thinking there's no fucking way. I'll be good at 10 cents. And he goes, "Yeah, that's bullshit, bro. We're going to do $3 more." Okay. So let's bump you up to, at that point, believe it or not, it was $10 an hour was my $3 an hour raise.
Damn, yeah.
I was at $7.25 an hour.
Yeah.
This is how old I am. It was during World War II. And so
you wanted $7.50.
I wanted
that was shooting for the stars.
$7.50, and it was shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, "Are you fucking kidding, bro?
Get out of my face.
Get out of here with that. You're way more valuable. Here's $3 an hour."
Yeah.
And this now puts you into the running of we are investing in you, which means we need that type of investment back from you to now take even the higher level. Because an analogy he used that stuck with me forever, dude. No sports athlete who makes millions and millions and millions of dollars goes to the front office and says, "If you pay me $50 million next year, I'll hit 84 home runs."
Right.
You motherfucker, you hit those 84 home runs first.
Yeah.
And say, "If you don't pay me $50 million, I'm leaving."
Yeah. Hell
and
yeah.
that's what you do at work.
I like that.
Hit those home runs first, and then they beg you to stay, and the only way they can is to give you more money.
Yeah.
There's no negotiating.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you've already done it through your actions. That is the negotiation.
Here it is.
Yeah.
This is what you'll be losing. If you don't have that kind of confidence in what work you've done, it's not time for you to ask a raise.
For sure. Yeah.
If you have to make up.
Simple as that.
Honestly.
Truly.
Honestly. And that's the part of the reality aspect of this not a podcast is that's what that's what we need to convey to people. These aren't strategies. These aren't like manipulations of humans. This is what have you literally etched in stone with your name next to it. And that's all you have to present to anybody. Anything other than that, the wind and the weather and everything's going to wash that shit away, and it will be like it never happened.
Yeah.
So you better have your shit in stone, So, and that should also give you some confidence when dealing with a supervisor or ownership or whatever. You're there to teach them just how much better they have it because of you.
Yeah.
And it's not okay, I appreciate you giving me 5 more minutes of this, but telling me that all of your coworkers love you and I make the environment really good. You know what I mean? I show up on time every day.
Yeah. So great. You do the absolute bare minimum. It's yeah.
Your coworkers like you?
Yeah.
Why do
Thank
you
God.
give a shit? Yeah.
Damn, I should
Man,
bump you up.
Definitely owe more money to this person. No. Again, this is part of negotiating. What do you think ownership cares about? It cares about cohesiveness and loyalty, and it cares about all those things. But it only cares about those things if they transfer to profit. We are owning of a business, and a business cannot survive without profit. Just like a baby cannot survive without food. So if you tell me and I go, I hug the baby every day and I play with it and I cuddle with it, the baby's dying because you're not feeding the baby.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to watch my kid you don't feed it.
Yeah.
So why the hell would I want you to watch my kid? I don't care how happy you are or how nice you are. The baby's dying.
Yeah.
Fucking feed the baby.
Yeah. Right.
Feed the baby first, then show me how much the baby likes you.
Yeah.
Bam.
Right.
Bam. Emerald.
Hell yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
That raise question is big, man. That was a big part of my life right there. That was a big turning point. Once he said $3, dude, my confidence and like my self-belief.
And also that's also just telling on how to know if you have the right leader that you're under.
That's
know?
true
because,
too.
like,
That's
look at
true
that.
too.
You asked for this and he
Took care of me.
look what he did. Yeah. Like, no,
literally-
you're worth more than that. And you just proved to me that you're. So that was like a teaching that, like, in that moment, maybe that's when you learned to always ask for more, because he could have. You would have thought he's the best leader in the world if he's just like, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and in his head, he's laughing at you. He's like, damn, he only
yes.
asked for this. Like,
Great point.
no, yeah, like you probably learned in that moment. Learned like, damn, I'm everyone's worth more. Like, or at least ask for more. And then like if you would have asked for $1 and he's like, no, dude, I can only do a quarter. That's really all you wanted to begin with. So now you still won. You know.
But
so,
not only that, but as a leader, I literally bought in for life in that moment because this man showcased he cared about me.
yeah.
Because he could have very easily said yes to a quarter, and I would have been on my way and been
he would have
pumped.
looked like God to you for
Right.
saying yes about
Yes.
yeah. Like you would have thought nothing of that. Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
But now, you know, like to this day, I don't even work for him anymore. Like he's one. Like I hold him so high in my life as to why I am the way I am as this man, and I will do that for the rest of my life. Because, dude, nobody's perfect. No matter how great a character traits you have, you will fall out of character. Things happen. But like moments like that, when you can truly take care of someone and you step up to the plate and you do it, even though you don't have to, like that's how you gain a circle.
Well, yeah. And that's how you gain now someone like he changed your entire life in that moment.
Entire life.
And you'll continue to now do that for other people
Yes.
because you know what that being that person means.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
Correct.
That's a powerful thing to be like this one individual like changed everything for me. Like that's crazy. So
And you don't really know that until you try, though.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
only reason I made that realization was just because we talked about it right now. Like that was literally the moment where I'm like, yeah, this dude can tell me literally anything, and I will fucking do it.
Yeah.
I will do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that type of buy-in, let me tell you, like, here's another little like very sincere thing. When you look at your leadership, I promise you, leadership is fucking hard. Leading is not a position. It's not because I'm the owner that I'm the leader. It's because I am choosing to do all the things necessary as often as I possibly can that everyone should do.
Yeah.
That will make us successful. Leadership is hard because a lot of the times it's not about like making people feel good or being fuzzy or this or that or the other thing, but it's just always making sure that you can convey the message that you care and that you will take care, and everything that you do is for the betterment of your people. And so having moments like that were very authentically honest helps me in those situations where I don't agree with leadership or I don't see how like what he's preached and what his actions like they don't meet. I can very easily be like, okay, that's out of character, not that is his character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it helps with that undying loyalty and trust. Because without that, I don't think great teams can ever accomplish anything because there's always something to point at that's fucked up.
For sure.
We've had enough conversations where, you know, we went from not great to great, and you know, every situation is going to be in that same regard when it comes to a team. And if the team can be honest with each other, and if I think I deserve a raise, I talk to you, and if you think I deserve $3 an hour more than I'm asking for, you give it to me. Now this is an honest exchange where I can trust you and you can trust me.
Yeah.
Because when you don't tell me something, I know it's because you have nothing to say. But if you do have something to say, I know you're going to sit down with me and you're going to say it.
Yeah.
So now I don't ever have to second guess, like, how is she feeling? What is she thinking? Is she really with me? Is she not with me? It takes that anxiety out of the water.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though the conversations often are difficult. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Wow.
I appreciate you, Connor.
Appreciate you.
What's next, Jack?
All right.
That was good.
It's interesting. You would think with negotiation, you would think like confidence would be the trait you need or something like this, but it sounds like it's humbleness that.
Well, let me explain what confidence is. Confidence is the ability to not have to pretend that you're not humble, right? Confidence is the ability to not have to pretend that you are something you aren't. So humility or humbleness, this is not like lessening yourself. Confidence is the fact that I can showcase you my sensitivity, and I don't have any fear that that sensitivity is going to break me, because I have so much confidence in my strength that's followed right behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to present to you anything, because everything that I showcase you, I'm authentically confident in, right? So yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that, but yes, I'm assuming people who go to negotiate think they have to be some hard ass motherfucker and puff their chest out and say, I'm not taking less than this or blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, you're always going to get more bears with honey than with bees. Is that the saying? Get more bears. Why would you want to get bears though?
I've never heard any.
You've never heard that?
Saying.
God, you can get more bears with honey than with bees. Meaning bees sting and cause pain. Honey's obviously a treat. So you can get more bears with a treat than you can with pain. That's the saying, but I don't understand why you'd want a bear.
Right.
You can attract more bears with honey than with bees.
Than bees? Attract more bears than bees?
Are bears coming or are bees coming? What's happening here? I don't know.
Can I just keep the honey?
Yeah, I'm just
Make
gonna eat
honey
honey.
Nut Cheerios?
Dude, honey's fun fact. Fun fact. Honey not only is phenomenal for you, but believe it or not, it does not affect you in the same like tooth decay and glycemic index as sugar.
That's cool.
Right?
Damn.
So this thought that like if I smash honey is just as bad as me smashing sugar is not true.
Cool.
Yeah. Fun fact I learned about that.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
It's very good to know.
So
That's
knowledge is
more
power.
useful than the negotiation.
Yeah,
No.
fuck negotiating. Give
We're
them
talking
some
about
honey and you'll get whatever you want.
Yeah,
This
and
is
they
some-
won't get tooth decay.
They won't need to go to the dentist. 2 for 2. Yeah, so no, I don't think you need to present any sort of character trait. I think you just need to be hella honest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hella honest with what you can do, I think you'll be able to walk out of there with either nothing, which is what you need, or exactly what you need. I don't think that there's any middle ground there. What you got next, bro?
Well, we were talking about business negotiation. What about relationships negotiation? How do you negotiate within a relationship?
Like,
What does that look like?
expand on that. Like, negotiate in what sense?
Like compromise?
Compromise is one way to put it. Yeah.
So like, okay, we talked about this a little bit in the relationship
Yeah.
non-episode.
Um,
Like when you have non-negotiables. Is that right?
Yeah. that's a good way to put
Non-negotiable
it.
negotiations. Things that you won't budge on, or things that you need for him to change in order for things to be okay. What are your thoughts on that?
so, okay, there's I feel like there's two sides on this, and it's mostly women talking about men. I'm not one to usually do that, but that's just what I hear.
Go for it.
So usually people will be like, just because it's funny. It's kind of an ongoing like theme that I hear talked about right now from like women influencers and blah blah blah. So they're like, one side says like, if he wanted to, he will, or if he wanted to, he would. Getting you flowers, for example.
Yep.
And then the other side is like, no, he just doesn't know. You need to ask him to. Okay. I see both sides. But I don't love the whole like treat men like they're children and you have to like hold their hand through life. Like I don't like that about women either, but women, like if a man were to say that about a woman, but women publicly say that about men more than men would ever say that about women.
Well, everyone seems to be training each other nowadays.
Yeah,
I feel
and,
like I see all the time, like how to train your husband and how to train your wife.
Odd. Like for me, I've never asked Ryan to be anything or to like do anything. I do understand like if my love language was acts of service and he was doing other like what his love language was, like I understand like communicating that like, hey, like I feel most appreciated when you do something for me. Like they would never know that if you never told them. So
Correct.
I do agree with that. Like there are things you just have to be honest about. Like, but if someone like truly like if you've like asked for flowers and he never got you flowers, like you don't have to keep asking or like negotiate. Like I don't know, like be like I don't know. That's odd to me. Like at that point, like why are you with someone you feel like you have to change? And like, you shouldn't change someone to fit what you want. You should just find that person that fits what you want. And then be honest and open about things that you do enjoy. Like, they would never know. I would never know that he would like to go golfing. Like, whenever I first met him, I wouldn't know he likes golf until he told me. And then, like, if blah, blah, blah. Like, or, like, I wouldn't know he liked this restaurant unless he told me this one's his favorite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think it's difficult sometimes, though, because if we go off of, like, if I go with what I want, like, what I want changes.
Yeah.
Like, as a person through my life now, after decade, the things that I used to deem important, I don't anymore.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah, agreed.
So I think a lot of times, a lot of separation happens between couples because they instinctively did a certain thing for a while, and it worked. And then one or both of the partners transformed a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I don't really care that you say nice things to me because I already know you think nice things. So now it means a lot more to me if you do nice things.
Yeah.
Right? So if you clean up the house when I get home and I don't have to fucking clean up the house, that means more to me now than like, oh babe, you're so
Tell me
fucking
you look
sexy,
good.
babe.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
because like I know you think I'm sexy. Because I'm sexy, you know what I mean? I
Clip
'Cause I
that.
know
this is an obvious thing. We don't have to discuss it. No, but I think so. For example, in my own personal relationship, this has been a big topic because I'm a very deep thinker. I like to expand on really complex ideas. That's where I thrive. I love it. And unless you're like on that same level, it's not fun for a lot of people to talk to me about those things because they don't think in those manners. So a lot of times, like, you know, for my wife, she is so deep, but in terms of eloquence to be able to communicate that, it doesn't come out like mine comes out. And so oftentimes she doesn't want to participate, or it's not fun for her to participate. So it was important for me to explain very specific situations in which that effort will be very necessary for me from like a support standpoint.
Yeah.
So that at least she knows when that effort needs to be applied and when she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Because her not doing it isn't because she's trying not to support me.
Yes.
It's because she literally feels like she's not contributing
Yeah.
the way she needs to.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now that's a negotiating. That, in my opinion, that's what we negotiated. Whenever I'm dealing with like, you know, a very problematic issue with my mom, or I just had really horrible news, I said, babe, I don't need much from you, but all I need you to do is I need you to walk up to me. I need you to hug me. I need you to give me a kiss and tell me you love me. That's it. Right? That's all I need. And she goes, absolutely, I can do that. Of course I can do that. But in her mind, she's like, well, I need to philosophically talk about love and motherhood. And like, no, you don't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just a negotiation to get onto the same level. And now it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And even if that's not who she, quote unquote, is, she understands that her love for me gets her to expand on that one piece and showcase that for me, regardless if she enjoys it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think too many people, and I'm really sorry, guys, but I got 4 minutes until my client. But not to cut this amazing conversation short, but I think too many people just go, well, that's just not how I talk, or that's not how I do this, so we must not be. Like, I don't need you. Like, I don't need you to do that all day.
Yeah.
Like, I talk deep with my clients every day, all
Yeah.
day. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But
I think there's a big difference in negotiating and just like compromise in relationships. Like, I think compromise is a huge part of all relationships, and it's just, you either will happily do it, but without having to change who you are, just do, I don't know.
But see, like, I think it's just tasks that people are upset about because, if he cared about me, then he'd already clean the dishes
it's, like,
or whatever.
insane to me.
Just say it.
Yeah.
It's a raise.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's
Hey-
exactly right. I think that's what it buckles down to, is like, you have to vocalize what you want or else no one's gonna know.
And have the confidence in yourself to know that you're worth what you're asking. Right? Because if you know you cater to this man, let's use that as an example, and you make sure his clothes are laid out and he's got dinner when he comes home and this and this and this and this and this, you better ask for exactly what it is that you want.
Yeah.
You know for a fact you're taking care of this human being better than he can take care of himself. You better know that you're going to be taken care of. And you go, listen, I'm going to stop doing these things if you don't step up in these ways.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm going to tell you, this is probably not going to work because we're going to both not step up to the point where
Now
we're just stepping
both
out.
just being assholes. Yeah.
Right. Right. But
Yeah.
that's a communication that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
vocalized, like you said. Otherwise, there's just this giant assumption all day long of what I should do, what she wants me to do. Should I do it? I don't feel like doing it. She doesn't want me to do it. You don't know. And
Yeah.
everyone makes these lifelong decisions off of ambiguity.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
And I think that's maturity, though.
Yeah.
You know, after
For
a
sure.
you know,
For sure.
especially like with the relationship as it gets older, you get more comfortable asking for
Yeah.
things. But that
And
only
just as you as a human have experienced different relationships or just growth as yourself, and you're like, oh shit, I probably didn't handle that
Yeah.
correctly in the past, like
Yeah.
in previous relationships or whatever it may be. So
well, you just want to
Yeah.
stop wasting your own time.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, the longer you do time, the less of it you want to throw away
Yeah.
because you realize there's so little of it actually out there. So being able to step up and say, okay, starting tomorrow, like this is what I need from you. This is what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
I think we do these things and we'll be a great partnership
Yeah.
and we're good.
I think it's the same as the first form of negotiating that we talked about, which is like they have to be getting something out of it in return.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like stepping up. They're not going to do 10 more things whenever you aren't willing to do anything else.
And often I think that's where it comes down to where it's like, well, I'm upset because you don't do this. And then the dude comes back and says, well, I'm upset because you don't do this.
Yeah.
And then there's the laundry list of what doesn't get done by both parties.
Yep.
Right.
Now everyone's mad because no one ever said it until this one blow up moment.
4 months ago,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about? Right. Like,
Oh.
yeah, the worst.
Yeah. PTSD.
Yeah, hardcore. But see, I mean, no different than jobs or relations. It's all literally life is all the same. We just keep trying to pretend it's not, but it's literally from
Everything is the
everything
same.
is the fuck. It's a giant natural yin and yang that encompasses everything, and then we just kind of just apply it to all a bunch of different
Yeah.
organizations.
Yep.
You know, and it all belongs. That's the last thing. That's one thing that has nothing to do with this, but like sadness, depression, anxiety, anger, fear, happiness, joy, euphoria, it all belongs. It is all part of the process. When you go to negotiate, you will always have a little bit of anxiety in your belly because you do want what you're wanting. So you're afraid that you're not going to get what you want. If you think that you shouldn't go after it because you feel that way, that belongs. If you're going to walk up to your spouse and say, listen, I really need this and this from you. I really do. And if I don't get it, I'm not telling you that it's an ultimatum or a threat, but I'm telling you that I can't be the best me if I don't have those things from my partner. You have to be okay with the consequence of the other side, which is not happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it all belongs, and stop freaking out that you don't feel 1,000% about everything all the time.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Know what you're saying. Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Love you. Mwah. Deuces. Thanks, Jack.
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yeah.